Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of December 3rd, 2017. This is the reading for the element of air, which includes the sun signs of Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. If you haven't checked out the ether reading, go back and watch it. It's long, it's juicy, there's a little blurb in the beginning for you. If you're watching this, you probably already have watched the ether reading, so maybe I'll consider not saying that anymore. But I do that for all of you who are tuning in for the first time. Elements of Spirit, combining the ether reading with this, your air reading, if you are Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius, using the two affirmations from the readings will give you your elements of spirit for the week. Think of it as an energetic sugar teat to suck on whenever you need some inspiration. These affirmations should work for you throughout the week when you least expect it, even popping into your head when you need them the most. Let's just see what's up with the element of air. Cute. We're getting all of these upper center crown vibes. So it just seems like ideas popping off. I love my guidance. Because it gives us like a high ponytail vibe today. It's very Fly Girls. High vibe. High pony vibe. Ideas popping off. Can you wear them ornamentally? Instead of making every thought a seed, which must, I'm getting tired just writing it, which must be planted, nourished, watered, fed, until it's a big tree. Like, I'm so bored. Not of you, but for you, because you got great ideas. You're brilliant. You're so brilliant. You're so powerful. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. But literally, like, you couldn't stop these wake-ups if you tried. Revelation, 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 revelation. Oh, I'm doing the ponytail. Pew, 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 pew. Ooh, or can I actually do it? Yeah, you'll see my hair's grown so much since I've been on the road. So I think we can actually do it today. Okay. Yep, there it is. Pew, 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 pew. Okay, so the idea is that that's your associated with the crown chakra. Yes, to some extent the third eye, but less the clairvoyance, more the claircognizance, that psychic faculty of having your mind blown by spirit, of getting information that you didn't even know you had access to. It's one of those moments for you. But who cares? It's the holidays. It's December. Like, who cares that you're having a million bajillion great ideas right now? Like, slow down. Slow down, because the ideas contain great information. They contain great insight. This is what we sort of started talking about in the last read when we were talking about Sagittarius in the beginning of Ether, when I was giving you the little vibe of Mercury retrograde, full moon in Gemini, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, full moon in Gemini, Jupiter in Scorpio for the better part of the year, the solstice, which comes at the end of Mercury retrograde, right? All of this stuff is, I think all of this has to do with this big kind of rotor-rooter bomb, which has gone off during Jupiter and Scorpio, and now all of these other things that are occurring are these very fascinating theoretical, intellectual networks of understanding how we feel, what we want, what's going on, and specifically all of these big dynamics that have to do with sex and power and secrecy, right? It's like, you might want to be like, yeah, it's all of those sketchy old dudes that are doing this stuff, but we wouldn't need to be watching it 24/7 on the telly if we ourselves were not somehow implicated in this. Also, literally as like the basis of Hollywood, right? Power, sex dynamics as the basis of Hollywood. Everyone who's ever enjoyed a movie, whether they like it or not, have bought into this machine of Hollywood. unknowingly, this is why Jupiter in Scorpio is causing all of these whoosh, expansive truths to come out and say, hey, I was either unknowingly or unconsciously or semi-consciously engaging in these power, secrecy, sex transactions that I don't want to do that anymore. I want to speak up, right? And so just such big, powerful Jupiter and Scorpio props to everybody who's coming out and saying everything that they need to be saying. But in a way, I'm saying this full moon vibes, Mercury retrograde vibes, even leading us up to the time of the solstice vibes, are giving us lots of information to understand these shadowy, secrety, dynamics and conflicts and inner struggles or inner truths, inner secrets, inner power struggles, inner sex struggles, inner dynamics, that we might have. I think that this whole cycle of the next 3 weeks or so is turning up all this information to give us to give us insight, to give us understanding, to give us clarity, but not necessarily to make us grow trees. So these ideas contain tons of information. These brilliant claircognizant pop-offs that you're getting contain tons of information, but think of them more so as theoretical information. Think of them more so as information and insight that gives you understanding that supports you in your ether reading extraordinary opportunity to change what you do, what you vibrate, or who you think you are. So the information, every thought contains information about how to potentially act, but the idea is that these next 3 weeks are not the ideal time for acting, for making huge moves, or for starting new things, or for making the most massive changes. Good for micro adjustments, good for theoretical understandings to be kept up with so that by the end of the 3 weeks, it's like a cascade of changes which have been waiting in potential are now possible and now occur almost, of their own free will. And when we go back to the ether reading, the read is not saying change everything today. They're saying you may have even lost the contact with the thing inside of you, which says you could change stuff if you wanted. So the affirmation from ether was, today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. Oh. Cool. I am full of insight. I proceed from still point to still point. There's something in there. There's no need to push, right? Is the sort of subtext, but that's not the affirmation. I am full of insight. I proceed from still point to still point. So dope. Today is an extraordinary day for change, right? Today is an extraordinary opportunity to change. I am full of insight. I proceed from still point to still point. So this is implying a lot of mental work, a lot of mental energy, a lot of clarification, and even forward motion. It's just I hope you're with me with this. It's giving you both the opportunity to create change, but also the freedom to wait for the right moment to act on that change. So we're reminding you that now is the ideal time to consider all the changes that want to be made, to use the cycles to understand whatever is coming out of the shadows for you, but then to know that you're going to be making adjustments, micro adjustments. You're going to have to pull triggers between now and the 22nd, between the 3rd and the 22nd, basically the cycle of the retrograde. But it's not ideal. So I feel like I've been saying to everybody, why put the pressure on yourself to, it's like you've just built, a little cabin on your property and winter is descending in. Why start construction on the big house? when you could just wait until the climate's a little bit better. You got a perfectly lovely cabin to sleep in. So keep thinking, keep planning, keep understanding, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to do everything, to act completely. Micro actions, micro adjustments. I'm full of insight. I proceed from still point to still point. This implies that there's an energetics of, if you're in a chaotic state, certainly don't go moving crazy. Find your stillness and then proceed to the next point with your insights. So it's the insights which could be tweaking you out, all these great ideas. You remind yourself you don't have to do shit with all these insights except watch them, experience them, gather them, right? And then allow them to calm down, and then move as far as you have to move, which probably isn't that far. You know, it might be farther than you want to go. It might be more stuff that you have to do between now and the 22nd, but like, manage the expectations of what you expect of yourself. Just to honor that you're full of insight, proceeding from still point to still point, doing your best to understand yourself and your experience so that you can make the changes that you need to make, because today and every day is an extraordinary opportunity to change. You have the options. You will find the window when it's possible to make the best changes. Okay, moving on. If you don't, please subscribe to YouTube. If you do, please follow on Insta, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on Facebook now. And most of all, ediblespirit.com. There's a mailing list there. I send articles, updates, events. There's going to be more stuff coming through that list. So if you're down, go jump on it, ediblespirit.com. I love you guys. Have a beautiful week.